Alright, folks. Time for another Hydrocephalus video because I've been watching a few and I just kind of want to tell my story a little bit. Um, I was born in 1982. I am currently 35 years old. I'm about to turn 36 February 19th. Um, I live in Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm from Kansas City. I moved down here when I was 32. Which was a big step for me. My folks and a lot of people thought, maybe he'll never leave the house because of the struggles that I face as somebody with hydrocephalus. Anyway, um, as I mentioned, I've had 9 brain surgeries, I've had 5 eye surgeries. My short term memory as somebody with hydrocephalus is a little bit non existent. Well, I don't want to say non existent, but it's not quite as strong as somebody's with a, that doesn't have hydrocephalus. Let's just put it that way. As a result, when I go to jobs and they're trying to teach me how to do something or teach me where something goes, I have a hard time remembering stuff. Just yesterday, I had somebody at Walmart tell me that I'm using this as an excuse. Well, bite me. Why don't you try to live with it? I was watching a video of some other people that had hydrocephalus, and one guy was saying, I can be looking for something and it's right in front of me and I don't see it. I've had that happen too. It's right in front of you, but you don't see it. I got blind spots in my eyes. My peripheral vision is non-existent. I don't drive because my peripheral vision is non-existent, and my reaction time is, slower than somebody that doesn't have hydrocephalus. Now, I'm not saying that I couldn't drive. If the entire city of Bossier City caught on fire and the only way to get out of here was to grab a vehicle and just drive, I want to find a way to get the heck out of here. Alright? I'd probably be safer walking, though. I do walk everywhere I go. I walk a lot. When I lived back home, no disrespect to, Kansas City, but everything's all spread out. Everything's 30 miles away. You can't walk that. Well, you probably could, but who wants to walk all day? Down here, things are 2 miles away. Entertainment is 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 miles away. That's a good little walk, but I can do it. And people say, well, that's a little bit excessive, don't you think? Well, I remember a lot of years where if I couldn't get a ride, I couldn't go. Because, it's just too far to walk. It's just not practical. And it's not a very safe walk because everywhere you're looking, there's like interstates with no shoulder. I'm not going to walk down a highway with cars buzzing past me at 60 miles an hour on either side with like an inch between me and the car. That's not smart. That's not safe. No matter how suicidal I am at the time. Depression. Somebody with hydrocephalus, we tend to... I don't want to say we feel things more intensely because I don't know about somebody without hydrocephalus. I've never been in that position before, but I've been told that I feel things more intensely than others. We worry a lot more when stuff ain't going right. It tends to keep us up at night. As a result, there's a girl that I care a lot about. If I didn't hear from her for a couple of days, it's kind of like, are you mad at me? Well, the thing is, she had stuff going on in her own life. She's got a son with some neurological issues that's having seizures. So I had to kind of jog my memory and go, oh, You're dealing with stuff too. Um, Selfish, maybe. Or maybe it's a result of what I got going on in my head. Maybe it's both. Um, I've never had a steady girlfriend um, that I remember. Uh, and, you know, that's it varies from age to age, but you know, right now as I'm sitting here talking to you, that's okay. That's all right, because it's better to be alone and happy than with somebody and miserable. Happiness is what you're going for, not a relationship. um, Happiness, contentment, joy is what you're going for, not necessarily the golden ticket. Okay. Um, I think it varies from season to season, but I've figured out what it takes to have joy, to be reasonably happy. Like I said, you know, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I can actually get around, that I can function. Um, you know, like I said, employers don't get it. Employers don't understand, hey, this guy's different. You know, they'll see me having trouble figuring out how to do something, and instead of coming over, I mean, let me backtrack here. There are some employers that are really good at saying, you missed that table over there. Can you go, you know, finish bussing that table over there? I work at Applebee's and I work at Walmart. At Applebee's, I might start to bus a table, but you can't grab everything in one go. So I grab it, take it back to the back. All right, then I try to come back, but I can't come back to the same table because my short-term memory is that bad. I don't remember right where I was. So I just start grabbing stuff from other tables. Well, they want me to bus a whole table and then go to the next one. If it takes me 2 or 3 trips, you know, I may just grab whatever I see from whatever table. I have trouble with wiping things down because getting the rag at the proper saturation to where it's, you know, wet enough to get it clean, but it's not so wet that it's going to be dripping when the customer sits down. That's a little bit of a challenge for me. I'm not saying I can't do it, but it's a challenge. And that's the thing. When I go to a lot of these job interviews and they say, "Well, can you do the job?" My answer is yes. I can do the job, but extra grace required here, people. All right. They don't like to do that. They don't like to give anybody extra grace because they feel like that's not fair to everybody else. Let me tell you something about fair. Fair is not that everybody gets treated exactly the same. Fair is not that everybody gets exactly the same. Fair is everybody gets what they need. I don't want to sound Marxist or anything like that. I'm not talking about equality of outcome here. I'm not talking about getting the same paycheck if I only work 2 hours as somebody that worked 40 hours. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you and I are both on the clock working the same shift, all right, and I got blind spots in my eyes and I'm dealing with short-term memory issues, have a little compassion, please. You know, how about helping me instead of chewing me out? Instead of saying, well, you know, if you can't do the job to our expectations, you're going to be out the door and we're going to find somebody else. So, that's all I got to say about that. Now, I do play guitar. I learn songs. And I can play reasonably pretty well. Okay? But I've been doing it for, gosh, 20 years. You know, I wasn't always really, I mean, I wasn't always at the proficiency level that I am now. I was 3/4 in the truth for a long time. Because you learn a little something, figure out how to do something with it, and I didn't really want to push myself into an area where I might go, this is difficult for me. Eventually you get bored and you just do it. That's what happened with me. Anyway, I'm sure there will be more videos like this. Stay tuned. If you have hydrocephalus, I'd love to chat with you, talk to you, just kind of get a little community together. If you have hydrocephalus and you live close to me, I live in Bossier City, Louisiana. Shoot me a text and let's get to know each other. Anyway, that's really all I got for now. So, peace out. Much love. Jesus loves you. So do I.